Hello and welcome back to Storytime with Uncle Bob. Tonight is Sunday, August 8th, 2021. The last 7 episodes I've been reading stories from the Bible about character education. Tonight I want to do something a little bit different. I want to share a story with you about my life. It took place in 2012. It's about college students volunteering, about leaders cooperating, and about creating real solutions for real challenges in a real life situation. So sit back and enjoy. I did a project in China about 2012 with some university students. Sun Yat-sen University in Guangzhou. I called it the Banana Project, and I happened to get in touch with these university students because I was lost exploring on the bus system, looking at my map, looking at the bus stand marquee, and these 2 college student girls said, "Are you lost?" And I said, "I'm really lost. I have no idea where I'm at, and I don't know what bus to take to get back to where I'm supposed to be." And so they went on the bus. They showed me which bus. Of course, the typical nice, friendly Chinese people. They took me to where I needed to go, an hour and a half out of their way. So we began to talk, of course. I wanted to know about their college and what it was like at a university, especially Sun Yat-sen University, which I heard horrible stories about Sun Yat-sen in the history books when we studied world history in 8th grade. So they told me about, I asked them why they were out so far away from the university, and they said that they're doing a project. And I said, "What's your project?" And they said, "Well, every student at the university has to do some kind of community volunteer project that lasts 2 to 3 years while you're at the university." And they were in a group where they had heard on the news that this island, so in Guangzhou, the main river is called the Pearl River. There is this island in the Pearl River that grew bananas. And then they'd take a boat from the island to the mainland, and from the mainland to the wet markets, they'd take their bananas to the wet markets and sell them. This island started growing bananas about 300 years ago. Come to find out, there is a disease that was killing the banana crops, and they couldn't figure out what that disease was, so everybody was losing income, and they were losing their jobs, so they're losing their income. The island, you could walk from north to south in about 10 minutes, east to west about 5 minutes. It was not a big island, maybe 20 minutes from north to south to walk. And it had 2 mayors, the north side and the south side. Neither mayor wanted to talk to each other. They're rivals. They both had 2 different ways of how they thought that the island should be governed and how they should take care of this problem. Well, the team leader, the university team leader guy, student, was doing his research, and he didn't know how to get the mayors to talk to each other so they could try to resolve why the banana fields got infected. So I sat down with them. I went to when I wasn't teaching and opening up my schools, I visited the university and visited their meetings, their volunteer meetings that they're having, so I could get more background information. I determined the only way to make progress is to get these 2 mayors to talk to each other. So I asked this group of students that I call Banana Project. There is 4 of them that were working on this. I said, how about if you invite me to come and ask the mayors to meet with me, because I wanted to find out about their island. So they made the arrangements for me to take a boat. And come to find out, they just had one boat, whatever, once a week that would go to the mainland. The boat ride was maybe less than 5 minutes to the mainland. This is not a big river. I mean, it had big freight ships that went in the Pearl River, but it's not like an ocean or anything. It's just a river. And so the university students and myself, we went on this boat and went to the island. The pilot of the boat just kept on staring at me. It was an old lady. And I asked the students, I said, why is she staring at me? And he said that I was the first white person that he'd ever seen, He was raised on an island, and all he's done is go from where they docked the boat, rode a bicycle to the wet market, delivered the bananas, got paid, rode the bike back to the dock, took the boat to the island. He never left the island. People there for generations, for 300 years, generations would never leave the island. They just stayed there at the island. So when I got to the island, the university students walked me around the two villages, and that's when I could walk. And we went into the different villages, the different sections of the villages, and talked with the people. Of course, they were my translators, and then I got introduced to one of the mayors, and we went to his house. And for the first time in the history of these two being mayors, would be the first time that the mayor, we went to the north side of the island. The south side of the island mayor was going to meet in the North Island mayor's house. And the South Island mayor never went into the North Island mayor's house because they're always rivals. So we sat in a round. It's very typical to have round tables. They don't have square tables. They do, but most traditionally, the traditional type of Chinese people, families have round tables at their house. So we're sitting there, and I introduce myself. And so this is long. It's a long meeting because I would speak English, then they would translate it into Chinese. So this is a really good experience for the Chinese students, university students, to practice their English and translating skills. And then when the mayors would speak, then they would translate it into English. So it took a long time for negotiations. So I finally, after hearing what the North Mayor had to say, and after hearing after I introduced myself and reintroduced the group, I was like a spokesman for the group, like their mentor, but I wasn't, but that's how we played it out. Then I asked the mayors to share their side of the story, why they thought the banana crops were failing and diseased. So North Mayor spoke, then the South Mayor spoke. And then I asked them the question that I ask everybody, and this is from doing things like this. This is the question that always came up. What do you want? And I just stop, and they would think. I said, and the next question is, what you're doing, is it working? Then they would have to respond. Obviously, it wasn't working because the banana crops had been dying for going on 2 years now. So then after the two mayors shared, then because I knew what the university students had planned, they had negotiated with the Science Agricultural Department at my Sun Yat-sen University to do a study on the soil, soil sampling and plant sampling, and then take it back to their lab at the university and do an analysis on the soil and plants and the water. And so then I let the university students speak, and then both mayors decided that they'd work together and they'd allow the university students to do their project. And over a course of a year, they're able to figure out what was causing the soil to become non-nutritious and diseased, and together with the University Agriculture Department and the two mayors working with their people, the village people, they're able to solve the problem. So I call that my banana project. One of my first community projects that I did in China after being in China for 3 years, that was a major project that I did between the university students and a village of 300 years. I actually have pictures of the students and the banana fields and the people at the meeting in front of the mayor's house. I have pictures of that. But these are the things that I do. These are the things. So, that was my story. Stories don't always end in success, but this one did. Thanks for listening to our story time tonight, and we'll see you next week. We might have a Bible story, and we might have another story. Whatever choices you make this week, I hope you enjoy the choices you make this week. Good night, and see you next time.